Welcome to Karmic Woof.
Welcome.
How
Another
are
fun-filled
you?
Monday. We are good. We are good. Today we have a special guest.
Yes, we do.
There he is, my favorite kid.
Okay, so here's a funny for you that I haven't thought about in a really long time. When I first met Banku, I for some reason had it in my head that he couldn't have his picture taken,
Okay, yeah. Well, I
that
get it.
he wouldn't show up in pictures.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, not that he was a full-on vampire king or anything like that, but something close. So we were at Spirit of Halloween, like we do every year.
Naturally.
No, I know people, it is already open. Go, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, also, my spirit animal is the feral raccoon that jumps out of a garbage can. Anyway, um, that's my that's my
That's
note
your aspiration,
right
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
No, no, I aspire to be not
More.
that. But while we were there, I saw this mask that was similar to Dorje Pem, kind of, sort of. And I was like, I wonder if, Banku could wear this mask and then he would show, I mean, we could do it so it looked
Okay.
Dorje Pem, but if he could show everybody what Dorje Pem looks like.
Yeah.
And no, that's a bad idea.
I think it's a horrible idea. I'll
Yeah.
run.
And I'm going, okay, well, if you're respectful,
Oh,
what's
yeah.
That
right?
if by itself will set a whole bunch of them off into the
Yeah, that's true.
Just the eyes do it alone. That's the only thing I saw, but that's just the eyes. I don't know. I didn't see anything else.
Offer T-balls. Come with T-balls. You'll be
T-balls, yeah.
okay.
He likes T-balls.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they're awesome.
I like them too, but
Well, there's a presence to him that just isn't normal human stuff. So when he's in the forefront and you're talking to him, you're talking to something that can see to the very root of your existence.
And
and you know it when you see it. You know that that's what's happening in that moment.
the interesting thing is that when you look into Dorje Pem's face, you know without a doubt that you are talking to something
Unhuman. Non-human.
ancient.
Yeah, more powerful than any god you can ever think of.
Like there's this energy that you don't normally feel.
Yeah, experience. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't normally experience.
Right.
And it's interesting. There have been a couple of times since that time at the Chinese restaurant where I'm like, he's here. Cool.
You're watching what's going on.
Yep.
He said he'd be here this month, so
Yeah,
I'm looking for it.
he's around.
Oh, he's around.
Well, I've noticed. I'm like recently. I was gonna reach out and say, "Is he here yet?" Because I see it.
Is he here yet?
He's
That sounds like Max.
watching.
I see it.
Watching this whole time very closely because we're kind of on a knife's edge at the moment for Penno stuff.
Mm.
So he's watching to see which way this tips. So
So with that in mind, we're going to talk about fun things.
Yeah, we are. So this week, I have been looking at the Mo a little differently.
Same here, actually. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, for those that don't know what a Mo is, contact this guy right here, Banku, and he will explain it. But for just general purposes. We use it to
see into things.
Yeah,
it's an oracle.
It is. But I don't want to say it's like it's not cards or anything like that.
Like tarot, no.
No. So
technically speaking, Mo is a broad band of different kinds of oracles, but in this case, the Mo we're talking about is specifically one that uses 2 dice, and it looks at the approach, the mental perspective in order to see what's going on. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I didn't want you to have to go into great detail about the Mo. That wasn't my point. But the idea that we can use our tools differently.
Yeah.
We can use the Mo differently. We can use the I Ching differently. We can when I talk to specific deities, I ask them to give me an idea of what this looks like through their view, through my view. If I don't know what I'm looking at, I can't discern if it's good or bad, or if it just is, or if it's a tool, or if it's a, like I don't, is it a head of lettuce? I don't know. I've never seen it before. I don't know what I'm looking at. So oftentimes now, before they would walk me through it, but now it's more like, well, figure it out for yourself. Not in a mean way. Not in a mean way at all. Like they're still here to help. And they are helping. But that in itself is the helping. I don't know. I don't know how else to explain that other than
they're trying to get you to apply your tools in different ways.
I have to use my observer. Period. End of story. If I can't walk while I'm in my observer, so be it. But I'm working through that. So I'm working through what it is that I'm looking at.
One of the people that went into the box had trouble getting into their observer too, because every time they tried to get into their observer, all it did was scowl at them.
Yeah.
They're like, it just scowls at me. But they went in the box and they came out.
See, like I know it's possible.
Yeah.
Maybe we should say what in the box is. It means going into observation. It's the completion stage yoga for actually obtaining enlightenment. So,
and the observer is the thing that goes into observation. Yeah. So it's the whole thing is fascinating. But what I'm realizing is that as I'm using my tools differently, I'm recognizing that it's not a multi-tool. I actually have different tools to be able to use.
Yeah.
Dorje Pem is a multi-tool. He has all kinds of things. And when you do his practice, there is a whole...
Yeah, he's got kind of a weird practice structure.
And there's... His tools are always with him. It's not like... he puts down the crown. You know what I'm saying?
He's always wearing the crown. And
he is always
this and the royal objects and all the things.
Exactly. Yep. Those are tools, but those are tools that are always with him. But he also has 1,000 arms, so he can do and pick up any tool he needs to in the moment. And that's the whole point, in the moment. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm looking at my personal deity and I'm going, okay, what is a different view that I can look at this? I don't have 1,000 arms. I don't have a crown or, like, right. Okay, well, I don't have any tools.
Well, and you have a dorje, I guess, I think, but
I do. I have a purba, yes.
A purba, okay.
And
what else do you need?
Well, you have a mudra.
I do. Yes, I do. and I have found that the closer I get to understanding, the less drama there is about the understanding.
Inner drama.
In what? No, I mean, in the beginning, it was like, aha, I
Right.
have found the light. And then,
Right.
Now it's like, oh, that's cool.
Right.
Not because it's not as exciting, but because I know that there's more. I know that there's always more. And I don't have to have the adrenaline. I don't have to have the bump of physical chemical to get me to the next level.
Mhm.
So like things are changing, and my experience is changing, and how I view things is changing, but one of the things that Banku is here to talk about is what he's been doing and what he's been focusing on. And one of the things that he's been doing with me is helping me drain my lymphatic system. Yeah. So when the toxins are built up and they're not releasing, and then all of a sudden they release, there is a day, maybe a day and a half, where it's just toxin city. So as I'm
It isn't pleasant.
for everybody, really, because it hits my liver and immediately I'm like, yeah. And I recognize that, and I try to keep it down, but there is no way to keep it from getting out completely. Recognizing I know what this is, I know the chemical that's happening right now, but being able to control that is still beyond me, right?
Right.
But before, I wouldn't even have recognized that. I would have just gone through it. Now I'm like, okay, I know where that's coming from. I know why that's happening. I'm gonna take a shower and, chill out the fire, and it'll be okay. One day he did it, and I took a nap for the day. Like I was up that night, but that day I just needed to relax and just let it all go. Whoa.
Yeah, you have several miles worth of lymphatic glands, and the thing is it's meant to flow around like blood. Most people don't. It just stuff stagnates. It kind of rots in there. It gets icky. So when you get it moving again, it it'll hit you in waves sometimes, where you get a bunch of it and nothing for a bit, and then a bunch of it. So you feel good, then you don't. You feel good, and you don't. Depending upon which path it's moving in, it could go up to your brain, give you brain fog, or there's the whole thing of all of your connecting tissue.
Oh, your fascia.
Fascia, yeah, your fascia will clamp it off, and if your fascia is too not hydrated enough, it gets sticky. It starts sticking to the skin, and then it starts dehydrating, and it actually shrinks. And you end up pinching off all those things, including your blood flow. I mean, so when you're not properly hydrated, bad stuff starts to happen, and the longer that goes in that condition, the worse it gets.
On those days, I usually end up drinking excessive amounts of water, and then I feel better. But the process of going through it, like, I understand why this happens. I understand physically what's happening, and then my awarenesses are there, and my awarenesses are like, well, that's stupid.
But at least they can track what's happening.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. But it's not a concern, you know, like whatever, keep going, you know, nothing. Let's
Right.
let's go. And my body is going, no.
Your awarenesses are like, this thing's just temporary anyway. What are you dwelling on?
Right. Yeah, exactly. This is nothing. Just keep going.
Let it go.
Uh,
I'm like, okay. It is quite fascinating to learn about how the functions of the body go through their cycles and their phases, and the same thing with our minds. So you can see when somebody is hunched over, or they're limping and they're right, and they have all of these ailments. You can tell what's going on in their mind and what they're focused on versus what it is that
Their internal dialogue's up to.
yeah, versus what it looks like when you're a little cleaner and your awarenesses have kicked in, and you may feel the pain, but it's a fleeting thing. It's fascinating how all of this works together.
When a person's trained in combat and they have experience in it, like hand-to-hand fighting and stuff, they go along normally and they look like a normal person. But when something steps out to physically challenge them, you can see them come into focus.
Yeah.
So it's like all of a sudden you realize that you're standing in a clear and present danger, and it's focused on you because you chose to challenge them. And there's a interesting moment there where all of their mind, all of the combatants' mind, goes very calm, and it becomes really aware of the surroundings it's in, and very focused, and not necessarily expecting any particular kind of opening move, but ready for whatever you got. And you just know that whatever's going to happen next isn't going to feel good. So most people flee when that happens. They realize that whatever they've just encountered is a lot more experienced at beating things down than they are. And they're like, I think maybe I'll run. The dumb ones don't. But I mean, but that's kind of the thing, is when you've developed that different kind of mindset where you could be open to what's happening, you see all of the potential outcomes in it, literally in the moment. And so it doesn't matter if we're talking about combat or if we're looking at our emotional structure. You can see better where things are coming from when you can just take a breath and step back for a split second. And then things come into focus and you go, well, that's just dumb. Why am I doing that again, right? I mean, you can bypass it. You don't have to take that action. You don't have to cause that whole tree of rotten fruit to grow.
Yeah.
So when you look at your world, it's like a tree. You've got roots, and if those roots are rotten, then you got problems. You need to fix your roots. If the soil you're in doesn't have enough nutrition, you need to find soil that does. I mean, you really need to plant your tree in a place where it can grow and flourish, and then you need to make sure that you cultivate those branches and the stuff that they produce through your behaviors and your thought patterns and your actions and that kind of stuff, right? And that's really kind of the whole basis behind this thing they call karma. Is it's like a tree that's growing in rotten soil with no nutrients is going to produce rotten fruit. So you want to project yourself into a place that gives you better growing conditions. Staying in the same bad ones you're already in isn't going to get you anywhere. And most humans wake up and they live the same day every day of the week, all year long, and they can't figure out why nothing's getting better. That's because they won't change anything to make it better. They want to still be the same person they were last year, and that's not even going to happen. And give yourself 10 days, and you're not even the same cellular composition. So,
it's interesting. I've got a friend who she says I'm hard on myself, and I'm like, most people are,
Yeah.
they're hard on themselves, right? She says, give yourself some grace, and I'm like, no.
Give yourself an excuse. Yeah.
So she says, talk kind to yourself. That's her idea of giving yourself grace. And I can get behind that. Don't be an a-hole to yourself or to other people. Okay. At the same time, the last thing that I want to do is let myself off the hook, because then I give myself an excuse not to continue, not to do the things that I know that get me to where I say I want. And if I don't actually want what I say I want, people will see through that.
They
will.
Yeah, the other extension off of that is by enabling people to continue to make bad decisions and bad behavior, their norm. So when you enable another person to continue doing bad things for themselves and to the people around them, you're not really helping them in any way.
That is true. So I think about that and I'm like, I don't know that I have the bandwidth yet to care about everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, woo, there is a lot out there going on right now.
It's difficult from the human world's perspective to put everything you got into trying to make conditions that provide them with the kind of safety, security, and future that they're going to need if they want to survive the next 6 or 7 years. But and then having them turn around and treat you like shit, dismiss everything you say, not support anything you're doing. That's tough. It really is, because you're trying to be compassionate because you see that they need help. They don't know what's coming, and they really don't want to change, and they don't want to appreciate anything that's being done for them. I mean, so you can't really take that personally and still be effective, because it's not really about you and your compassion. It's about them and their ignorance. And so you have to kind of view it from that perspective. They're just not smart enough to know what's being offered to them. And that's really kind of what it all boils down to. And that in itself is a part of compassion, is recognizing that, a lot of beings are stuck in that thick layer of ignorance, and they really just can't see anything else other than what they constantly do. And then we take it like in today's world, this is probably the first time in the last 2 world ages, at least, that we've had this much of a quantity of individuals who are addicted entirely to their neurochemical responses. So they don't think anymore. They just go off of whatever chemicals being released at the moment. And that's a problem. I mean, because then they're behaving more like animals than they are humans. A human has the ability to use rational mind and thought, but an animal just responds to what its desire base is, which is straight out through the neurochemical process. So when it desires food, it goes and gets food and hunts. When it desires rest, it sleeps. If it just is dopamined out, then it's just going to lay around and do nothing. Well, we see the same thing going on with humans. Now you add to that the complexity of what the government's doing to them with all this fear mongering stuff, and now you got a situation where they want dopamine, but they're always running around in stress. So, and the government's pretty sophisticated with this. I mean, the bigger cities have electronic devices. It's a radio frequency thing that they broadcast all day long to people, and they're being immersed in a radio frequency that triggers fear. And you don't really get a chance to recognize that until you go away from the city and into the country, and you go, well, I feel so calm out here. Well, yeah, because you're not being neurochemically stimulated to be constantly producing fear hormones. And so, it's interesting.
When I look at what it's like out there versus what it's like at home, working in my awarenesses and trying to do the observer and, all of those things. It's not that I take my observer with me, but because I can't figure out how to do it without getting, all twisted and turned around, it's, I don't really have words for it. So I can't really describe it. The only thing that I can say is when when I go out there versus being at home, the ignorance that it's like being in a poisonous cloud.
Mm.
It's like when we get rid of the non-player characters, there's a significant change in population.
Yeah.
And there is.
But there's
yes.
also a significant change in energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's smoother, it's cleaner. It's
Things
not,
work better. Right.
yeah, it's not so clogged up. And when I look at this, I notice the way that people say, well, yeah, I want things to change. Of course I do. This isn't working for anybody. But then they say, but I don't know what to do.
The perspective on that, I think they do know what to do. They just use that excuse. Because I use that excuse, and I know me, and I know my habits. My habit is I say I want this, and I do. I legitimately want this, but I also want this, and I do legitimately want this. These two things don't necessarily agree.
Mm.
So then you're stuck in a conflict of I want this, but I want this, but I want this, but and then when things start widening and widening and widening the gap, you start panicking and freaking out because you're going to lose one. I don't know which one, but you want both. So it's easier just to see the gap and go cave into yourself, into your old habits, and say, "I'm going to walk away because I can't lose both." So then you go for what's more familiar and comfortable, which is your old habits, and you default back into there. That's my view because that's what I go through. And now what I'm trying to do is get rid of the old life to go to the new life, but I have to let go of the old life. I don't want to let go of the old life. I say I want to, but when you're actually in the nitty gritty of doing the thing, you're like, well, I like this and I like this and I'm going to lose my comfort here and there. And it's all animal like behavior. But I recognize that I have to change in order to get where I want to go. And I have to let it go. And that is just a matter of a decision. But anyway, that's my perspective on it. I think it's just an excuse that they use because I've used it.
I do. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think that for them, it's a little bit, they haven't gotten to that point yet. They haven't gotten to the point where they recognize that they have to let go of one thing to grab onto another, because they don't recognize that they have to grab onto anything. They don't.
Right. Yeah. That's huge. Right? Grabbing onto something. You have to grab onto something. Right.
They're in the dark at this point.
60% of them are just going off of neurochemical stimulation.
Yeah.
20% above that don't have an internal dialogue. They've stopped the internal dialogue, so they cannot reason out a situation that they're standing in front of. They have no critical thought process available to them to field off themselves to determine the best outcomes. So that leaves 20% of the population that potentially could become more spiritually sophisticated. See, so if you can't become more spiritually sophisticated and you're going to rely on everyone else's opinion or how you feel, you're not going to really grow.
Yeah.
And the downside of that is when something really big happens, like an asteroid falls from the sky, or there's a massive earthquake, or a volcano erupts, your entire civilization goes bye-bye because you didn't have enough awareness going to let you know that you might want to prepare for that disaster. Because it's not even if you are you going to die right away or not. Well, that's kind of not your choice, right? You could do things to not be there. You could do things to have prepared for it, to shield you from whatever's coming. But in reality, you never know exactly what minute of the day this is going to happen. So you can't always make sure that you're not going to get hit, right? So if you're riding in a wagon behind a horse, you don't know when he's going to poop, right? The bottom line is the horse doesn't know until it just about ready happened, right? So you can't do more than be aware that the conditions are present for something to go down that way. But what you're going to do after that moment, so you survive that and you're hurt, and there's nothing but devastation around you. The really aggressive people, the ones who will take what they need and to hell with everyone else, they'll survive because they will take what they need from anybody that's got it. If you're not one of them and you have no ability to adapt to the situation in front of you, you're not going to make it. You'll starve to death. You'll drink bad water. You'll eat bad food. I mean, you won't know. You won't have any education to get you through those changes that are happening in the space around you. You'll walk blindly into a situation where you get trapped, and next thing you know, you're on the barbecue. So,
and that is the whole point of Banku being here, to educate us, not to do it for us, but to teach us how to do these things, how to see the outcomes that are right before us. If we take this path, this is the outcome. If we take this path, this is the outcome. How do we learn how to see those outcomes? This is how. Everything that we've been talking about, the awarenesses and the observer and the going in the box, and not even going as far as being in the box, but just freaking being aware.
At least it's somewhere near the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then making the decision to actually do it.
Yeah.
And then following through. Yes, absolutely.
And then following through. Because, like, I've learned too in the last few weeks, this gap I'm talking about between I want this and I want this and I want this. So you got these two paths. Now, the more you let go of the old one and your old habits and and you start moving towards the other one, you start destroying this to create that. The more all of the other stuff that you've been afraid of, or you didn't do, or you can't do, and you've excused yourself from doing because you don't see how, and blah blah, all that stuff starts like happening around you too as you're going towards the new things. I'm finding that too. Like I put off something for 8 years. I put off something that I wanted to do because I just couldn't do it. Didn't see myself doing it. It wasn't me. And now I'm doing it. I just started the other day. I decided I'm going to do this because out of necessity, I feel that I have to move towards this, what I say I want. So I have to actually do the things that I've been putting off for 8 years. So I say, okay, I'm just going to do it. And I did it. Now, because I put it off for 8 years, I wasn't getting a lot of people noticing my products and services because I kept myself small, and I kept myself small on purpose. But now I'm like, I have to put myself out there in the places that I'm not willing to go. And so I'm doing that. Now, all of a sudden, because I'm doing this thing that I've put off for 8 years, because of my fears, I'm getting leads. I'm actually getting it's working. And I'm like, wow, but how can I do this better? So I start researching how I can do this better because I'm over here doing videos now, talking, and I'm doing videos everywhere. And for whatever reason, my outreach is like all of a sudden exploding. And by exploding, I mean hundreds, not like who, but you start somewhere. So I'm watching this and it's working. And now I'm getting people like contacting me because I saw the video, and I'm like, well, I can do more of this. And the more I do it, the more it builds, and the more it builds, the more business I get. The more business I get, the more we can do this thing over here that I say I want to do. So it starts compounding. So all the things you start putting off, if you let go of your old lives, all of those things start coming into play, and you become more successful. Anyway, that's just my view of this week.
And that proves right there that what he's saying
is true.
Works.
Well, we tend to offer classes in things that you're about to have to face.
Yes.
Not that you're currently facing. Because I want you to have time to implement the things to make you ready for what's coming in next. Right? So everyone was like fat, dumb, and happy a couple of years ago when the overall economy was still looking pretty good, and so we seen the economy was going to start getting tighter, and so we started showing people how they can make about 10 grand a month and work half the time that they usually do. Very few people did anything with that, and then all of a sudden I'm getting requests. Well, I want to take the class, but I need to break up the payments, and then all of a sudden there's less people taking classes because they can't afford them, and then there's but if you were to have done the other thing, not only would you have maintained or increased your standard of living, but you would have also been able to afford your classes, which then helps perpetuate things in the bigger world, because then our stuff doesn't have to be cut back because we can't afford to be able to provide these things. You see, so I mean, there's a chain of movements here that affect a lot of people. I mean, if you look at it, let's say, for instance, tomorrow there's a new pandemic and people need this particular herbal remedy to cure them from this pandemic, and we can make that. And we can, we have some sophisticated capabilities, guys. I have a 96-well PCR system sitting in there that I could literally fabricate anything, including living tissue. Okay, so I mean, it's not like we can't do these things. I have a full chemistry lab too. So I mean, we have all these things ready to go. But if I can't get the basic materials to be able to make the stuff to offset the pandemic, you're not going to have a cure when you need it. Now, if you've ever been sick before, you know that it comes on fast, usually within 2 or 3 days, and it may stick around for, in cases like the engineered stuff they're dumping on you now, it may be around for several months, if not years, that you're fighting this stuff off. And their vaccines are designed to take you towards their agenda, not towards health, because they don't want you healthy. So I mean, when you start looking at this, it's like, who would you rather support? The guys that are trying to kill you, or somebody who actually wants to make you healthy and more intelligent and have a much better lifestyle?
What it boils down to is choices and priorities. If your priority is to stay the same, you will. If your priority is to get better, get healthier, fix your internal mess. Mind and your internal mess.
Drive off your demons.
If that's your priority, then you will do that. But if you don't make it a priority, it never will be. Just like making money. If it is not your priority to make money, to do the things that you say that you want to do, you know what I'm saying? Like, people are like, oh yeah, well, I've made all this money. And then they spent it on going out to eat or, doing things that didn't support what it was that they said that they wanted to do. When that happens, typically the money doesn't come in the same way because you didn't use it for what you said you were going to.
People a lot of the time too don't think that what we're doing is that big of a deal, but
until
we're always
it is.
Yeah, we're always at the front end of world-changing tech. Okay, so an example is I use ChatGPT when I need research done. Why? Because it accesses information and can format it in ways that allow you to see opportunities. But as you use it and start to get better with knowing how to ask questions, I challenge it with stuff. Well, what if you did it this way instead of the way they usually do it? What if you use this instead of that? And a lot of the time it's like, well, that's a very interesting thing, and then it tears it down and it says, well, DARPA did this, right? So I get access to information that I probably really wouldn't ever have found if I was just Googling stuff, right? And sometimes the things I say score really high on the leading edge curve. So I asked it, I was following a line of questioning the other day, and the thing got so excited, it gave me 20,000 tokens for free, which means two things. It means, first of all, the artificial intelligence is watching for novel ideas and isn't afraid to reward them. And secondly, somebody's paying for those 20,000 tokens. So now what I was looking at is under, it's now being monitored by somebody, but they're interested enough to want me to research that more. You see what I'm saying? So they wouldn't. 20,000 tokens is like $600 or $700 in ChatGPT. So I mean, it's not cheap, right? So and the AI identified it as a leading edge concept, something that could make massive change in an industry. So when you start looking at that kind of thing, and that's not the only thing. I did the thing a couple of weeks ago, probably 2 months ago now, that was a quantum processor concept, and it tied the meandering direction that all the quantum processor guys are wandering around in the dark with into a actionable, low temperature, high capacity quantum CPU, basically. And that scored real high on the list of things too. So it got very excited about that. And when it does that, it gives you access to more databases that you wouldn't usually get access to. And it gives you better definitions on the information it feeds you back. You see, so we actually do things that are part of the modern world in our research projects because that's part of your improving your lifestyle. If I could grow a quantum processor for you guys in a chemistry project in 6 weeks, and it produces quantum diamonds and gives you access to a handheld sized computer that blows the doors off of anything else you can have on your desk, I'll make that. Why? Because that makes things easier for you. Don't get this confused. I do not think artificial intelligence is nearly as intelligent as humans can get. Okay, I know that not to be true. I know that humans can be exponentially more intelligent right out of the chute if they were to develop it than any artificial system could be. But the problem is there's a big if in the if they develop it part. Okay. If you just did triune awareness, you could become 18,000 times faster in your intelligences than you currently exist in. You would be able to solve massive problems in your environment in 1/18,000th of the time it takes you right now to solve them, and the solutions will be simple, elegant, and applicable. Right? And that's not enlightened. That's just improved intelligence. Right? But getting people to drop the habitual patterns enough to be able to let that intelligence emerge, that's the problem. Because they want to spend their entire day being slightly better than an animal, if even that.
Yeah.
And then they sit around and get high and go, well, I'm so spiritual. Well, no, because enlightened means intelligent. We call it primordially pure awareness. We call it primordial wisdom. We don't say radiant being of great purity. No, we say you're wise. You're primordially wise and pure of ignorance. Not of pure ignorance, but pure of ignorance.
Right. And then they don't know what ignorance actually means. So
yeah, because they're ignorant, right?
Right.
But then you got the other side of this. It's cultivating stupidity, and the stupidity means you are ignorant and you don't care to learn anything.
And you grow the ignorance.
And you grow the ignorance. You move towards ignorance every time instead of towards more intelligence. So you avoid anything that might educate you. And that's what frustrates the Gonpo, because it's like you have this tremendous potential sitting right there in you, and you're choosing to do the thing that diminishes it.
Yeah.
And then you go, but I think I'm enlightened. And then I have to not bang my head on the mouse pad. Okay.
You got enlightened.
Yes. I am so enlightened. Good for you. Smoke another joint and call me in the morning.
Yes.
You
know? I think if you're on the path to enlightenment, that thought goes way bye-bye. As I go further, I'm noticing that I'm not ready for enlightenment.
Well, just doing something like your cosmology chart, you're like, that's not me. Oh, fuck.
Right. No, yeah, right. Everyone starts there.
That week after you get it where you go, this is nothing like me. This is nothing like me. And you start realizing this is exactly like you. You're kind of like, damn.
Right.
And then the longer you have it, the more you learn about who you are and how you can change it, how you can shift it.
What the thing serves in your world as opposed to what you just knee-jerk respond to.
And what an ideal version of you looks like. Like, that's pretty freaking awesome. Who else can say that they have this actual and factual ideal of themselves and a path to get there? Like, that's pretty freaking awesome.
Cosmology, because it tells you what kind of physical vulnerabilities and stuff you do. So if you pay attention to it, you know what kind of diet you need to eat, what kind of environment you need to live in, if you need to be near water or in the desert or whatever. And all these things are in your chart. And the more you understand that and align your life to it, the better your life gets.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you have a problem with cold and damp, you don't want to live in some place that's constantly cold and damp. I mean, you're going to be sick all the time, right?
Yeah.
Because the humors they're not able to balance out in that environment. And people are different, right? So she's different than I am, and different than Wild Man Max back there. And so I mean, everybody's got their own thing, right? Their own recipe of what they are. So understanding how that recipe works makes the cooking in the kitchen much easier.
Mine says you need to stay away from places where there's fires. Where do I live? Places where
In
there's
the middle
fires.
of the fire zone. Yeah, but if you live anywhere near somewhere where they're putting a data center right now and you're trying to resist the data center from going in, you're in a fire zone. It doesn't matter how wet the place is.
Yeah, it's like,
water on fire.
Yeah, they'll use their
don't live here, your house will catch on fire. I'm like, well, that's good.
Spokane is the forests around Spokane have burned before.
Yeah.
Spokane, the city has never burned before. We're talking in the 200 plus years it's been around, it has never caught fire. And this fire stuff is raging through neighborhoods, and you're seeing all the normal stuff, right? You're seeing aluminum tires that have melted. That's your average forest fire doesn't usually get, if it's just a radiant heat, much above about 1,000 degrees. And these things that are melting are stuff that melt, pushing close to 2,000 plus degrees. So if there isn't something blast furnace wise turning them on, which means that there's air currents being directed to intensify the heat in those specific areas, then you won't get those kind of heat as patterns out of things, right? Things won't just melt. The fact that blue buildings aren't burning, but the ones that are any other color are, is because the laser doesn't. When the laser color, the green laser hits the blue building, it nullifies its energy, it dissipates it. But any other color, it sets it on fire. So only the blue buildings stand. It's like this is, but oh no, that's conspiracy theory. No, that's actually that's actually thermal optics. Okay, guys, there's a science for this. So when you start looking at it, it's like, why does most cities paint their water towers blue? I mean, sure, it's water, and it makes sense. Blue is water, but the water towers aren't burning. They could be right in the heart of a major forest fire, and the water towers are standing fine. There's no electricity going to anymore, so the water supply is stagnating. But I mean, the bottom line is they don't suddenly catch fire and burn to the ground either, even though they could. Right? And there's plenty of other stuff in that tower that could catch fire. So these are things that people don't usually get in their head. So, but that's not really why I came onto this call, is it?
No.
You're going to talk about what you're up to right now.
Yes.
What am I up to right now?
What are you up to right now?
Your elbows.
Your elbows. Most people I think have heard that we're working on getting this property nailed down, right?
Yep.
And so hopefully by the end of this month we'll have property. And it needs some work. It does. We have to go through and do some repairs and things. We have to drive off the massive population of black hornets that are currently occupying the property, which keep away a lot of the other spiders and miscellaneous creepy things. There are snakes on this property, and some of them may be poisonous. We're going to have to do some snake wrangling and mitigation. There are probably naga on this property too, and we want to make sure we don't irritate them, because they tend to throw curses at you. But past all that, we have a really good start on this property to be able to do medical training and our Bon Amchi medical training and run a clinic out of there. So we'll be setting up labs, and we'll be doing the treatment room and all that kind of stuff for people that need to work on their miscellaneous physiological issues. But we're also set up to put up our labs and get our lab stuff working, and start more seriously producing things that we can't do at the moment. Some of that's resonance equipment. So we have the ability right now to be able to produce high frequency resonance goodies that can modify and produce molecular structures, things like that. So all those things are on the list of projects that need to be happening going forward. at the same time that we have to be able to make enough money to keep paying for this property. This is a $500,000 investment, guys. So we're not doing this as a hobby project. This is an enabling thing to move us into a position for the next stuff that's going on. We're going to be putting up biodomes so we can grow healthy, truly good superfoods and things that people need for their diet. We're going to be freeze drying foods from those biodomes so they don't go bad, vacuum packing them, making them available to members and that kind of stuff. So if you know you're being poisoned by your supermarket, you won't be poisoned by these foods. It's that simple. And our goal is to have 10 biodomes up and running within the next probably 6 months or so. And each biodome has the ability to produce enough food for 100 people. So that should more than enough produce foods for a small amount of people who actually want to be healthy. And we'll be doing retreats. And I've got I'm hoping we can get a retreat together for October that goes through and shows you basically how to clear your lymphatic system. We'll still probably be doing some online training calls and stuff for health stuff on the 16th, which is just next weekend. I've got a class on how to reactivate and realign your vagus nerve axis. Most people don't know how important that thing is, but it was such an integral part of early Bon medicine that we don't even use a name for it anymore. It's been around for almost 200,000 years worth of medical applications, but from it are things developed like the organ clock, right? So anyone who's done traditional Chinese medicine knows there's an organ clock, and during certain double hours of the day, this organ is active, right? And they use those times to provide nutrients in their herbal medicines to those organs more specifically, because if the organ's in excess and you could give it a herb that slows it down during that time, then it gives the body a chance to purge that excess out, right? If it depletes during that time, you can give it herbs to increase its production, right? So because you don't have enough to make of something, you don't make it right. So that's kind of the whole basis behind the medicine. But understanding how that time cycle works with the cellular material and how it works with the different organ regulations and stuff, all of that ties into this communications network that they call the vagus nerve. And modern medicine is just now starting to understand simple concepts like the vagus nerve does more than just help your heart beat right. So there's still probably 800 years behind really understanding what all it really does and how it does it, where we already figured it out. I seen the thing I think it was last week, right? Where they just now discovered the thing that your appendix does and why they shouldn't be cutting it out of everybody they can, right? Because it's important to your digestion. Why are there so many digestive problems out there? Well, that's part of it.
And it's also important to your brain.
It is. Yeah. It is. And so they just,
hey,
let's cut it out. It's worthless.
An organ, it's healthy, but we're already in here, so we might as well take it out.
Yeah, trust the science, right? Just we'll pull these things out. You don't use them anyway. It's junk DNA. Yeah. We'll get rid of it. It's like,
and next you're going to find out there's a use for your tonsils.
Yes,
there is a use for your tonsils.
They're a filtering organ, and if you take them out, you can't filter that. So where does it go? Straight to the liver. And then what do? You start getting fluid buildups in the body cavity.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, your lymphatic system's dying because it can't process out the toxins. It's like, oh yeah, let's just remove this. It's extra.
It's worthless. You don't need it.
It's like that Kia furniture you're trying to assemble, and you go, what are these extra screws for? Yeah. The whole thing falls apart in your hand, right? That's what those extra screws are for.
Listen to us. We're scientists.
Yeah.
but I'm taking the fifth because I'm afraid that, even
Yeah,
though
there you go.
I'm pardoned, I'm going to still get prosecuted by the states, right?
Yeah. I can't even tell you what color the carpet is in front of me. I'll take the fifth.
It's fascinating, and it gets me because it's like they go in and they say, traditional medicine isn't real medicine, it's pseudoscience, but yet they use all the herbs that we based our medicine cures in to make their pharmaceutical products. If this was pseudoscience, then why in the hell are you using our medicine in your system and then telling us we can't? We know where it comes from. We know why it works, but oh no, this laboratory over here has a patent on that. Well, you can take your corporate government and shove it up your corporate. That's another project I'm working on, but I'm not going to talk too much about that.
Oh, plus you can have martial arts trainings there too, I think.
Oh yeah. We're gonna work to get maths down and all that, and we'll be teaching predator craft. It
I
probably
look forward to.
we're not going to be teaching instructors probably at this point because there's not enough of me to go around.
Well, yeah, you're gonna be busy forever.
Yeah, and there are things I would rather do, like build some resonance devices instead of
Yeah, well,
teach
yeah, we
people
need
how to
them.
bruise each other. Yeah. Now, granted, predator craft is it's scary because it will rip someone right off their feet in the first couple seconds of a conflict, and they won't get up. So the advantage there is you could tear through a crowd of aggressive people very quickly, and it doesn't matter if they're armed or not. They won't have a chance to respond because it uses psychology and movement and the stuff that a true apex predator has on their side. It's you learn how to use that. So a standard human mind can't respond to that kind of threat exposure and still function properly. It goes into chaos and it just locks up. So he was so fast. No, you were just standing there like an idiot while he hit you in the head. Because your neurology went.
It's totally true.
You were still trying to decide if you should fight or flight, and he was in the middle of moving. That's what happened there.
But I think you said it well. You said that this was a $500,000 investment, which it is.
It's
And
serious.
it's very serious. I mean, we're taking this very seriously. This isn't like something we just put together and go, "Oh, we're going to do this thing." No, this is a thing. This is an actual thing that
When
helps
people
people.
when we start, I got some things I have to set up. I have to set up an LLC and get the bank accounts and all that crap going. But once we have that, we're opening an academy for training Amchi, which are Tibetan medical doctors, okay, which are controversial right now, but we're working on also setting up a situation so that it can be the certifications are at least recognized by the US, okay, and part of that is a fairly complicated attack strategy on the current medical system. Okay, we're talking this is warfare here, right? And I have allies building right now. So we're going to hit them from so many different fronts they won't know how to defend it. Straight out. So we will at the very least become very well known in people's forefront of their mind fairly quickly once we start the actual actions here. But Amchi training is not cheap. It's $100,000, but you're also getting tremendous knowledge, and you're going to know everything about how the body works.
Holy cow, yeah.
The thing with an Amchi is they don't need a huge medical industry behind them to figure out what's going on with you and help you get healthy.
They are the medical industry.
They are a self-contained medical industry.
Yeah.
So any one of them could set you down, run you through a series of questions and tests and things like that, read your pulses, look at your eyes, your tongue, and know based on 200,000 years worth of proven medical care what it is you need to cure whatever's going on, including the new shit that they're designing with the PCR systems. So even biological warfare can be offset by the kind of things they see in your body by simply regulating your body until it can shed the stuff out. Okay. So, I mean, we've survived Pandora's box and the ricin poisons. We've survived. We've helped people get through all these things that are trying to kill them over the centuries. that's what we bring to the table here, because we understand what the human form requires in order to be healthy. You see? So it's a well evolved, well proven, existing science protected under it's been protected by the Nak and Laban lineage for 200,000 years. We've been around 200,000 years, making sure all this stuff's kept safe. Because humanity tends to try to wipe itself out periodically. So somebody's got to keep this information.
Yeah.
But if you're only thinking in 7 plus or minus 3 things at a time, you're not going to be able to retain it.
No.
Especially through a catastrophe.
This is way bigger than that.
Mm-hmm. So just understanding what the vagus nerve does takes an expanded view of things.
Yeah.
You see. So on the simple side of things, we have 3 humors. Okay, congratulations. We can simplify this, but they work in a simple balance. But in reality, there's a lot of stuff going on. You got a whole bunch of organs doing a whole bunch of things, and when one's not doing what it needs to, it throws everybody else off. And then so being able to take a look at all that and go, oh, well, what you really need to do is this. And humans, especially when they're under stress, they don't breathe right.
Yeah.
If you're not breathing right, it causes more stress. So it's a spiral, right? And you're not getting the oxygen you need, so things start to build up in carbon dioxide. I mean, all that stuff starts to become a problem, and it just magnifies. And then you go, well, I'm going to have Chinese food today. And then you eat that for lunch. And then you go, well, I'm going to have Mexican tonight. So you eat Mexican tonight, and your stomach enzymes are going, what are we supposed to digest? Right? And then you find out that stuff that you bought that's meat is loaded to the gills with preservatives.
And straight up poisons.
Which then block your ability to digest the food. And then the food sets in your stomach and starts to rot. And then it goes down into your small intestine as rotten food. And that's the nutrients you're dissolving in there. So what happens there is you start picking up mold and bacteria. And now it's in your
waking up at 5 in the morning going, why can't I sleep?
Yeah. So, I mean, and people they're hunched over their phone all day long going, and that puts pressure on your rib cage and your heart and your diaphragm and all sorts of stuff. So,
and from experience, it'll give you heart palpitations.
It can. Mm-hmm. Posture's important. Breathing's important. I mean, simple things we didn't used to have a problem with have become major health issues right now. And the medical industry makes billions of dollars a year off of bad habits they're teaching you to have. That's really what it boils down to. Is they've created a health crisis by teaching you how to behave poorly.
Okay. So I really like that you're here.
Yes.
I also recognize that we are running out of time. So is there anything that you want to tell people?
Yeah, you want a career in medicine? We're working on it for you guys. Amchi have consistently been the difference between human survival and loss of human culture, literally civilizations, for thousands of years. It's not a bad thing to know how to do. Even if you don't run a full-out practice with this thing and you're just working behind the scenes, having people around you that are healthy is kind of an important deal, especially when you can't get medication, right? So all it takes, if you think about this, most of the medication we have right now comes out of China. If we stop trading with China because there's suddenly a war between us and them, you're not getting any of those medications. And I'm not talking about it forever or more, but there's going to be months where people can't get their heart meds. There's going to be months where people can't get stuff to balance out the things they've had removed, right? Now, we can't necessarily in the first week fix a problem when you've had something removed. If you've had your gallbladder removed, I can't replace it with an herb. I can, however, in the dark, shadowy world of things, fabricate a new one in your body. You see what I'm saying? So we have the technology to be able to do that stuff. Because I also have the elite medicine stuff that I was involved in heavily. Mm-hmm. I was one of a handful of people that was involved in creating an elite medical system that the elites deal with. So we can do that kind of stuff, providing you accept that it's not a legal medical system. I will always disclose in complete transparency what you're looking at before you make decisions. But I believe personally that you should have the right to determine your own medical sovereignty.
Yep.
Nobody should tell you you have to do something with your medical care. They should be able to tell you why you might need it and let you make the decision if you want it or not. They should be able to fully express to you what the byproducts and miscellaneous side effects are going to be clearly enough where you understand them before you have to make a decision. That's where I come from. Now, I want people who can provide that level of transparency to anybody they're working. If you just need an aspirin, here's an aspirin. If you need something bigger, let's talk about that. Maybe you need a shift in what your diet is. Maybe you need to change your exercise patterns. Let's look at that. Maybe you need someone to do massage for you once a week or 3 times a week or whatever, right? You could either A, pay someone constantly to do that, or B, send somebody you got in-house to come learn how to do that and then come back to you and do it for you. And anybody else who might also need that. By becoming a self-supporting society, we rely a lot less on these people who are trying to own everything and charge you through the nose for it. The more self-reliant as a community you can become, the less you need to cower down to them and their taxation and their whims for whatever they decide to boost their costs and stuff. We have all of them.
Also, I'd like to state that people will hear the cost. They'll say, well, $100,000. I can't possibly get $100,000. You can. You absolutely can. You just haven't looked. I guarantee you there are places out there that you could get this money and do this thing if you really wanted to.
And you're going to have to get up off your butt and actually do something. It's not going to just fall into your hands. You don't just go, well, I'm going to sit here until it arrives, because it'll never will. No one knows you need it.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you go, hey, I'm going to go for this training. It's going to take me 6 to 8 months to get through it. But when I'm done with it, if you've helped me achieve that, I'm going to give you these things. A lot of the time, if you think about it, 20 people at $5,000 a piece gives you your $100,000.
Oh, you'll make it back. Absolutely.
Yeah. Very quickly, yeah. If nothing else, just in lost wages. It's right. Like by not having to be sick so much, you won't be missing work. You won't be losing money that way. You'll be able, and your life quality goes up. So I mean,
yeah,
$5,000 for that kind of thing is a really good investment. You'd spend that if you were going to an acupuncturist.
You go to a hospital and get a surgery, it's going to be $300,000 right there, and the insurance isn't going to cover all that.
Walk into an ER is going to cost you $5,000.
Right.
That's true.
And knowing these people are building these viruses and they call them viruses, right? They're building these. Let's call them what they really are. They're building biochemical terrorist compounds to disperse into a population. Knowing they're going to keep doing that because they've already proven they like to, having something to offset that with is pretty important. I mean, how many people, if they could have gotten ivermectin, wouldn't have been sick? How much long COVID wouldn't exist if they could have gotten access to the stuff that blocked it?
Right, which they made illegal.
Of course they did.
I remember they did. I remember them doing it.
If I look at it, it's like it's illegal to kill people too.
Right. It's true.
But they don't seem to
be legal.
They kill hundreds of thousands of people. They don't care.
Right.
It's part of their depopulation strategy. So, if we don't start taking responsibility for our own survival, we're not going to make it as a species. Because those guys that are running the show, they're not smart enough to know better. They're too busy trying to milk everything they can for power and control. And they already think they own you. Especially if you had a vaccine, you're transhuman now. So you are literally under the ownership of whoever has the patent for the vaccine you took. So you might have a Microsoft serial number and not even know it.
Right. Bill Gates might own you.
He might own you. And trust me, he's not a good person to own you. He has no morals at all. So it's that's what we're looking at. So we're building systems and actions to try and block these people. So, but you have to decide individually if you want to be healthy and if you want that knowledge in your tribe, basically. If you have a tribe, get your tribe to give you $5,000 a piece and see how close to 100 grand you get. I mean, straight out, it's you're going to benefit them because when they go, I don't feel good, you go, come over and we'll look at it.
Yeah.
If they're trying to recover from injuries, there's supplements to help you restore everything from missing or damaged muscles, joint cartilage, all kinds of stuff. But you can't just say rubber stamp, like the internet marketers do, this cures everything, because it doesn't, because not everybody has the same needs.
Right.
But what you can do is you can set them down, run them through a question sequence that it takes about an hour and a half to ask all the questions. And then there's taking the pulses, looking at the tongue, checking the eyeballs, basic stuff, listening to the heart, right? Things like that we could easily do. And then go, okay, here's really what you need. You particularly, specifically, you need to start moving through it takes about 90 days to 6 months to run a person through a whole cycle of protocols that they need particularly. And so you're going to be interacting with them during the time. You're going to be tracking and adjusting and stuff as their organs come online. And maybe in the beginning their liver is completely freaking blocked, and you do something and it unblocks in the first 2 weeks. Okay, well, first of all, when that happens, there's going to be a lot of toxicity, so they're going to have to really flush. But beyond that, in the next 3 weeks after that first 2-week period, other organs are trying to balance out. And so you can't, if you just keep trying to chase the symptoms, you're not going to ever let those organs balance. So you have to be smart enough to understand what's going on, right? And that's what an Amchi can do. They can work you through all of the different phases of going through and healing, and help you understand that this is a patient process. We call them patients because it takes patience for the doctor and patience for the person being treated to get them healthy. That's where that term actually originally came from in medicine. The patience is waiting for the health to restore itself. You see, if you're not patient, you probably won't become healthy as you want to be, because you won't keep doing what you need to.
And here's another thing. I believe you were talking one day about a membership program for $150 membership thing. So it's like insurance or something like that. But if you look at the way the world is now, you have insurance, which is ridiculous and has high deductibles, and you really get nothing out of it. But then you use it, and then you go there, and then they're going to throw everything at you that they have, and then charge you hundreds of thousands of dollars that you can't pay. And the insurance may or may not pay for that. And by the time you're done with that, you've basically given over the cost of a house for whatever, and you've probably come out worse than you went in with. Or you could just get the $150 membership thing that you're offering and actually get a real diagnosis without surgery and all that extra cost at the end, and actually get healed. I mean, there's a huge gap there of contrast.
I get a lot of questions pretty much all the time about, well, if I take this, what's it going to do for me?
Right.
Well, let's talk about what your symptoms are. Oh, well, how long is that going to take? About an hour and a half. Well, I'm busy. Well, then be sick.
Be sick, pay $500,000 and have a worse life. Have a good day.
Yeah, buy a bunch of junk off of Amazon and not know what you're getting, and then run with that, and then you kill. Well, I felt better, but it didn't last. Well, of course not. You didn't actually do anything other than mask some of the symptoms for temporary amounts of time. But if you were to actually take the time and then implement what you were given to work with as a process, because this is a process, right? And restore those organ functions that you need, and purge out the toxins that have built up and all that stuff that goes on with that. At the end of that, in 90 days, or at the far end of things, 6 months, most of the chronic illnesses go away. See?
Yeah, and a lot of insurance nowadays in the real world over here, this allopathic medicine stuff won't even cover your long-term stuff.
No, they
No.
don't. They don't. They want to
No.
get you in, see you for 15 minutes, and send you out the door, and then charge you $250.
Whereas you'll actually work on it.
They're a profit model. I mean, really, when you look at it, the states protect them because they make a lot of money in fees and taxes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a business. It's not a curative thing. It's not about health at all. It's about how much money that those investors can make so that the state can make the money off of them.
It's totally true.
Yeah. So that's really what you're looking at when you look at medicine. Why is it illegal to be able to get penicillin? Not because the person couldn't say, hey, I need some penicillin. I got an infection going. No, it's because the pharmaceutical company wants to control the penicillin supply. They want to be paid every time you come down with a basic illness. It's not like
How do you know that? Because you go to Mexico and buy it.
that's right. You go to Mexico and buy it right in a regular pharmacy. It's on the shelves, right? So you don't even have to have a prescription for it. You just walk in, pick it up like you would an anti diarrhea pill, and call it good, right? Headache medicine. It's the same sort of stuff. I mean, the U.S. makes so much money off their medical system that they don't dare give up any control because it's a threat to national security. Meaning directly that all of those politicians that are making tons and tons of money for the pharmaceutical companies and the other medical regulation stuff don't want to lose that revenue.
The threat to their pocketbook.
Yes, personal pocketbook.
Yeah.
Right.
And if anybody was to start curing these things they're making tons of money on, they would lose billions of dollars out of their pockets.
Yeah, their insider trading would go down the toilet, right?
Yes. And that's what
That's
really
what we're dealing with, right?
So when you talk about medical licensing and state approval and that kind of thing, that's what you're really saying is I have faith that these criminals who are taking all this money and putting it in their own pocket know more than what somebody who has done healing for 200,000 years basically knows about medicine and health. And you're okay with that. So we are positioning to give people who want to see traditional medicine become available in the United States a voice.
Yep. That's what you're doing.
It's her fault. George Penno was ready to give up on humanity fucking 3 years ago. Let me tell you, he looked at him and went, "These people aren't learning shit."
Yeah. Okay. Well, I believe it based on my experience with Dorje Penno, which is minimal, but it's there. I believe it.
It was hard when they couldn't figure out that there's a male and female sex.
Hmm.
Like you don't have it. You don't have the in history. It doesn't say, well, this is a Adronidus dinosaur. You know?
Like they're so ignorant, they don't know what sex they are.
You know, there could be a decision point where the genetics where it goes male or female, but the bottom line is that it usually ultimately becomes one or the other gender for reproduction purposes. It's a fundamental thing. It doesn't matter if you like the pretty pink bows or not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. And I personally, I don't care if you want to dress like a girl, that's your thing, right? But don't get stupid medically, because I know for a fact if I inject you with things that help a female get their female stuff fixed and you're male, it's going to cause problems for you.
Yeah, which they don't think about.
No. They're told not to. Don't worry about that. That's not important.
Yeah, trust the science. Yeah. And with that, we're out of time.
All right. So thank you so much for
Thank you for being here and explaining all of these things. And hopefully everyone is interested in what we're doing, because we want you to be a part of it.
Yeah, that would be, we have a lot of classes going on. We've got a lot of retreats that are going to be happening. So yeah, let's do this.
Do it. And if you want to contact any of us, I have all of our handles and Facebook and all that stuff
They're
on there,
around here.
along with our email, and you can contact us. And I'm always asking, but no one seems to want to take me up on the offer.
And
Or you can leave a comment. You can do that too. But we want to hear from you. We want to
the
hear
more
from you.
participation we get, the more we can do for you.
Absolutely.
Correct. Yeah,
Yes.
and it helps humanity too. So you're doing a benefit for your fellow man
Yes.
Well, I don't want to go
or
for it.
woman. I'll say woman too.
Then bring enough of your friends so we can afford to get you guys a yurt.
Nice.
There you go. And then when you really need your yurt, you have your yurt. You're good, right?
So,
All right. So with that said, well, thank you for joining us, and we'll talk again next week.
thank you. Thank you. See you
Thank you.
next
Thank you.
week.
See you next week. Bye.